I work with survivors of sexual violence every day. My job is difficult, yes. And then there's this other part. I'm a survivor of sexual violence, which isn't really a surprise, as many people drawn to the work of supporting survivors are in fact survivors themselves. It's a tricky thing. The empathy of survivorship is like opening a door just enough for it to leak through without a torrential downpour of over-identification, a blurring of experiences, keeping my shit separate from theirs. The word survivor fits for me most days, but it's not for everyone. I'd like you to peek through the windows of the Trauma Club with me. Some of what you see will be mine. Perhaps it belongs to others I've worked with, those whom it is a precious privilege to support and an honor to know their stories. I am giving you a backstage pass VIP access so that you begin to understand what it's like. Here are our stories. My story, others' stories, children's stories, the stories of people of all genders and all bodies. Here are our stories. So welcome. Here are the front steps made from panic attacks, the insides covered with the wallpaper of flashbacks, the unstable floors scratched and marked by dissociation, and a large courtyard filled with everyone else's opinions that no one asked for about what survivorship is and what it should look like. They tell me find someone you trust, but the problem is I don't trust anyone. You see, knowing and trusting are different things. I can tell my students what happened to you is not your fault. And they say, I know, I know, I know. But they do not trust it. And why would they? They've learned they can't trust anything. Their instincts, their bodies, their memories. I told my mother what happened, and she keeps telling me to pray about it, to find a strong faith community. But you see, Mom, it was a church where it happened. And how do I describe the feeling of wanting so badly to be held and wanting no one to touch me? I am scared to be in my own skin because when people are in a car accident, they often avoid the sight of the trauma. They take alternate routes back ways and never return. I am walking around in the sight of my accident. Believe me, I've tried to forget, but our bodies won't let us ignore what happened, and while sometimes my mind has trouble remembering, my body does not. My head decided to check out of there, but my body stayed, left to endure. I am reminded in the form of stomach aches that last for days, pain and shortness of breath from the invisible boulder weighted upon my chest, sweaty palms during classroom discussions, and headaches that leave me debilitated. I am worried I will be found out. Some try to make themselves smaller and smaller because the less space they take up, maybe the less likely they are to be noticed, or because eating isn't really an option when you're nauseated all the time. Others decide, if I just turn myself into someone who is beautiful by whatever unattainable standards exist, maybe I'll be less likely to be raped again. Yes, if I just gain weight and create a protective barrier around myself, then I'll be safer. I didn't have any choice in what happened in that dorm room, but I sure as hell get to decide what I do with this body to remind myself it's mine. Maybe I cut not because I want to hurt myself, but because I want to feel something. Because all of this pain and pressure that exists inside needs to get out. He can't remember what good sleep is. He can't get there, and he is terrified to close his eyes because he knows the nightmares will inevitably come. And thank you so much for your concern about my drinking and drug use. I had no idea it was so harmful. Please recognize, these substances help us to forget, even for just a couple of hours. You say you're concerned about me? Yeah, I'm concerned about me too. And the lucky ones have families who support them, believe them, and say the right things. So many of us know how our fathers feel about girls like that and dinner table conversations about those boys who have had their lives ruined. So rather than attempting to educate her parents on their generational ignorance or seemingly well-meaning words, she walks around carrying the burden, feeling all alone. And so many of us know this comes from our own mothers who still blame themselves for what happened 30 years ago. And how am I simultaneously too much and not enough at the same time? I am on high alert 24/7. My overactive sympathetic nervous system will not let me let go, and I have to remind myself to breathe. And who do we talk about being too much or not enough? What identities make someone more or less of a victim? Whose stories do we care about, and whose stories count? It's not that I want to kill myself, Sarah Jordan. It's just that I want this pain to die, and the only way I can think to do that is to kill the body that houses that pain. The comment section causes an unreal amount of pain. Nobody knows, but I was molested by a classmate in first grade. Maybe he was mirroring his own experience. This really messed up my little girl self because it created confusion about what was okay in friendships and relationships and what wasn't. And to have someone who loves me so much, and I know I deserve that, but in the back of my mind, can't help wondering if I'm damaged goods. Too fucked up to love, broken to the point that they would leave, and who would blame them? It must be such a difficult time of year for your office. This week? Sure. Yes it is. But when is it not? Because there will always be another powerful celebrity, politician, judiciary committee meeting, docu-series. And do not misunderstand, this is not a recent phenomenon. And then there's the humor. The dark, dark humor that makes space for me to laugh and sometimes cackle. Because if you don't laugh, then you cry, and I often do both at the same time. When she says, well, at least the dark bruises are turning yellow just in time for the spring. When you and your adult friends are having dinner and one of you comments, I haven't had this beer since my assault, and you blurt out, I was drinking this beer before my rape too. And you all erupt in laughter as if you're recalling the episode from that one show that is just too easy to relate to. What bizarre and beautiful connections trauma club members make when they find each other. When the abusive caller calls our hotline and yells, you're going to get raped, and I think to myself, joke's on you. That already happened. And anything new is hard. New friendships, relationships, therapists, it's exhausting. Trying to explain why I am the way that I am. And then there's the shame. The shame. I am so sorry for what I am. The feeling disgusting and dirty, unbearable and unworthy. So this trauma club we're in, it's like having membership to an organization I didn't even know existed and definitely wasn't ready to join. What amazing card-carrying members it has. You know many of them. So tell me, what exactly is your job? They often ask. What do you do all day supporting survivors on a college campus? It's a good question. What is my job? I often wonder. I am the keeper of secrets, the holder of space, the dispenser of tissues, and the receptacle they go in. I am the vessel for hot, angry sobs, the basin for tears of betrayal, the collector of disappointments, unkept promises, and the hopes of who they thought they would be. I am the observer of the bruises that decorate the necks of my students like a statement piece. The witness to the physical harm done to the body's most sacred places. The caretaker of the invisible wounds left by institutional betrayal, cowardice, and the patriarchy. I am the witness to the Title IX investigations, courtroom proceedings, and police interrogations. The provider of choices that no one wants to choose from. The holder of hands during hospital exams. I am the groundskeeper of the shame, damage, and blame that should not exist, the validator, approver, and distributor of words. I am the detector of bullshit. The gatherer of ignorant comments about false accusations and fake solutions about keeping our girls safe. The teller of unpopular truths. I am the refuge from the slut-shaming, victim-blaming, and disbelief. The sanctuary from the triggers. The reminder that what happened to you is not your fault. I'm the maker of jokes to soothe the anxiety. The worrier of what is going to happen. The revealers of laughs, joy, and happiness they thought was gone forever. I am the audience to strength, resilience, self-forgiveness, and hope. I am the someone they tell, and I am the keeper of secrets. So thank you for visiting the Trauma Club with me today. Please prop the door open on your way out. We have people coming and going all the time.